Good morning everyone and welcome to this week's assembly. Today we are going to be exploring an interesting question about the future. In our world there are lots of huge cities which cause a great deal of pollution. Ms Cook is going to share how one architect has planned for an exciting new vision of city life, and she'll be asking us a big question about the kind of home we would dream of living in. Over to you, Ms Cook.
Hi everyone! Today we have a fascinating question to explore. If you could live anywhere, where would it be? Let's explore! An Italian architect is planning a city of skyscrapers. Luca Critchley said he wanted to build 4 self-sufficient, interconnected towers with trees, wildlife and farms. He claimed that his buildings, for 200,000 people, would be the best way to tackle population growth, pollution and poverty. I live in the top of a block of flats. You may have seen me in that amazing video everyone at Park did for you. I'll be there for you. For me, I really like living in a block of flats at the top because I can have a very good view all over London, and it's got a nice outdoor area for me to sunbathe. Others of you might not want to live in a place like me. You might like having an outdoor garden that you can go and play with, on the grass with your toys, a bigger place for your family. What kind of home would you like to live in? Cosy and snug, grand and imposing, high tech, or minimalistic and calm. Lots of people love to think about their dream home. TV is full of shows about it. Games like The Sims let you build the life you want in a home you want, just like an architect. So where would you like to live? In the English countryside? In a mega city like Rio? In an historical city like Timbuktu? In the hills of Bangladesh? In Antarctica? Or the beautiful Maldives?
Thanks, Ms Cook. Now, if any of you at home would like to share your dream home with us, perhaps you could write about it or draw a picture. Maybe you could build a junk model or a Lego model or make something in Minecraft. Please send them in because we'd love to see them. So now it's time of the week when we hand over to Mitzi Pecknold to find out how we've been doing with our mathematics. Over to you, Mitzi.
7 times 3 is 21, 4 times 8 is 32. Hey rock stars, we're here for our 2 weekly check-up and see how we've been doing online. We're starting with Key Stage 2 this week, and our top rock stars this week in 5th place. I'm very proud to say it's Mohammed Abdul Sattar in Mandela class. Rock on, Mohammed. In 4th place, Tammy in Rosa Parks. Well done, Tammy, you've been a rock star superstar this week. Also from Rosa Parks class in 3rd place is you, Alex G. Good job. In 2nd place, we have Hassan from Hawking class. Well done, Hassan. And finally, in 1st place for Key Stage 2, it is Aman in Helen Keller. Rock on, Aman, and all of Helen Keller this week. Now, I also want to give a special shout out to Berners-Lee class because you have been doing some amazing rocking this week. In particular, Rashik, Muaz and Sufyan. Well done, guys. You have done amazing work so far this week, and good luck in your battle as it continues. Now, Key Stage 1. Down to you. Let's see how you guys have been going with your numbots this week. So, starting off in 5th place in numbots, we have you, Anna Christine, in altering class. Well done, represented for Miss Khan. 4th place, we're going to go to Marie Curie class, and it is Kevin. Well done, Kevin. 3rd place this week, still Marie Curie class. It's you, Alice Maria. Well done. 2nd place this week, it's not Marie Curie class again. It's Einstein class, and it is Isaac. Well done, Isaac. And in 1st place for Numbots in Key Stage 1, it is Olive in Einstein. Well done. That's a super week for Numbots this week. So guys, you got to keep on rocking. Key Stage 2, look on your classrooms for details about a Guinness World Record TT Rockstars attempt. Maybe that could be your name in the Guinness Book of Records. Until then, rock on!
Thanks, Miss Phelan. It's brilliant to see what everyone's been up to. Now it's time for me to do some sharing of my own, and I'd like to share with you today the story of the last tree, which links with what Miss Cook was talking about earlier. While you're listening to the story, I'd like you to look out for what happens when the people stop being kind to each other and stop being kind to the environment around them. The Last Tree by Emily Howarth Booth. Once upon a time, a group of friends were looking for a place to live. The desert was too hot, the valley was too wet, and the mountains were too windy. Nowhere was quite right, until they saw the first tree, and came to the forest where dappled light fell through the leaves and a gentle breeze twisted between the branches. All summer long the friends lived and played among the trees and slept on the mossy floor. When winter came, the breeze turned colder, and they took a few branches for firewood. But where they had taken branches, the rain came through and put out their fires. They chopped down a few whole trees to build shelters, but that made the forest colder still. So they cut down some more trees to turn their shelters into cabins. Soon it seemed that the more wood they took, the more they needed to take. When summer returned, the sun blazed down and there weren't enough trees left to shade them. Yet a few more branches made very pleasant porches. Before long, the people became skilled carpenters, and all summer they worked hard to make the perfect village. But when the autumn winds came through again, they whipped through the spaces where the trees used to be, throwing all the villagers' fine work into disarray. They needed a new plan, one that would solve all their problems forever. "Let's tie everything down with rope." "That'll never work." "Well, we have to do something. We could catch the wind in big bottles." "A barrier's the answer." "We need more wood." So they cut down all the trees still standing. All that is, except one last tree that was no good to anyone. "What about that one?" "Oh, leave it. It's really more of a weed." And with the wood they built a wall. What fun they had working together to build it, and how proud they were when it was done. Stillness descended like a blanket. The clothes stayed put, the plants grew tall and straight. At last the place really was just right. But with nothing to look at but the wall, something happened to the people too. In time they started to forget their games and songs, and soon the happy village had grown cold and hard, for now the villagers had walls around their hearts. "I saw the neighbours looking at me strangely yesterday." "I think they're just jealous of our cabbages. They were peeking through our window." "Perhaps we ought to reinforce the door, fence in the garden, board up the windows." It had taken all the wood they had to build the wall, and before too long each parent, thinking they were being clever, said the same thing to their child. "Remember that last tree? The one more like a weed, tiny and weak? We need to stay inside and guard the house. So, will you take this axe? Go out beyond the wall, see if it's still there, chop it down and bring us back the wood. Get it before the neighbours do." But when the children, creeping out beyond the wall, found each other by the little tree, they soon forgot their task. They laughed and ran and played and sang and tended the tree and gathered its seeds. Each day they visited, it grew a little taller and more proud, until they knew that they could never cut the last tree down. Meanwhile, each night the parents asked their children why they hadn't brought back wood. But when the children talked about the tree and how it made them feel, their parents wouldn't come outside to look or even listen. That's when the children knew what they had to do. They started to bring home wood, but it wasn't from the last tree. And when it was delivered plank by plank, their parents didn't question why it was long and straight and smooth. All they said was, "This'll do just fine. Oh, that's good." Boarded and banged and fenced and reinforced and never once looked up or out. It was only when the wind rushed into the village, rattling their boarded up windows and knocking down their new fences, that they ran outside and saw that despite all their new wood, the last tree still stood. In the bright daylight, they remembered that they were old friends, not enemies, and when they heard their children playing in the tree, saw how the cool wind twisted gently through its branches and the sunshine fell in dappled shadows to the ground beneath, they were reminded of how things used to be. Then all at once they understood what they had done, and how perhaps they could begin again. What fun they had taking down the wall, and how proud they were when it was done. As they planted seeds and tended the saplings, they talked and sang, and as the children grew, a new forest grew with them. And the last tree became the first. Now, as many of you will know, this week is Mental Health Awareness Week, and the theme of the week is kindness. I asked you to keep your eyes and ears open during the story to see what happened when the people stopped being kind to each other. What did you notice? Did you notice how the people started being unhappy, feeling jealous of each other, and arguing? Wasn't very nice to see, was it? Did you also notice what happened when they started being kind again? That's right, their life became far happier and they appreciated the world around them once more. I'd like you now to think about the power you hold, all through being kind. Your kind words and kind acts are good for your own well-being and that of those around you as well. If you haven't been joining in with the kindness calendar this week, I'm going to challenge you this weekend to do something or say something kind to someone at home with you, someone who's not expecting it, and I want you to see how it makes them feel and to see how good it makes you feel too when you do something for somebody else. And just before I finish talking about that, I'm just going to look at a page in this book, The Boy, the Mole, the Fox and the Horse. And we're not going to read it all now, but one of my favourite pages in here is this one. And it's where the boy and the mole are sat up on a branch in the tree, looking out at the world around them and thinking about their life. And the mole asks the boy a question. He says, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" "Kind," said the boy. I hope that's something that all of you feel too. That when you grow up, amongst all the other things that you want to be, one of the main things is kind. Now it's time once again to see all the beautiful work that you have been doing at home and in school.
First came the virus and its stories about how the people died. Then people really started to take notice, but they'd wasted too much time. We could shrug it off, stay apart, and tell ourselves we'd be fine. But things really started to get worse when we were told to stay inside. Then down came the small shops, down came the smalls. Up went restrictions about buying our food. So many theories about what COVID is. Some say we're getting sick and some say we're getting killed. Some say this will end soon, some say that's a lie, but we really don't know anything. Will we live or will we die? Slowly and going crazy when we're all trapped inside. It's easy to forget all the people by our side. We've got the doctors and the nurses trying to keep us all alive. We've got the cooks and the farmers always willing to provide. We have all the other key workers who do their job despite the stress. Special mention to the parents who care for their children during this mess. With every time we clap, they get a little bit stronger, and I want them to know that I'll clap till I can clap no longer. I know it's easy to forget the clappers during all of this crazy stress. I know it's easy to think about the ones with COVID and forget about the rest. I don't blame you for forgetting with all the pressure on you, but I just want you to know that when you're feeling stressed and blue, as long as I am here, I will always clap for you.
Stop.
Filming! Ted, I'm filming!
This is me throwing down a paddle. No, Mr. Bunny's dead!
Is he dead?
One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7,
Is it 9, Mahad?
9, 10.
Well done, Mahad.
Like,
Thanks everybody. We're so proud of how well you've worked across this half term, and it's wonderful that so many of you choose to share that work with us. Thank you. Now, let's go over to Ms Broadhurst to see our stars of the week.
Thank you everybody, we're so proud of how well you've been working at home, and it's really wonderful to see all those things you're sharing with us. Keep it up. Okay, so next we have our stars of the week as nominated by our teachers. So, my first star of the week this week is Ion in cook class. For engaging in the home learning enthusiastically and sharing his books with his friends, Ms Allenson thoroughly enjoyed seeing you use story maps to retell The Hungry Hungry Caterpillar. Next we have Devon in Columbus class for being a concentrating crocodile of his home learning activities and showing such excitement and creativity in the tasks he is completing. Next, in Marco Polo class we have Kira, just for being amazing. Miss Lennon is so proud of all the learning you have shared with us on Google Classroom. You really have been working hard. Well done, Kira. Next, in Einstein class we have Effie. Firstly, for being such an active participant in your Google Meet sessions. Effie always has interesting thoughts to share and questions to ask, and was incredibly quick to answer questions in our quiz. Also for her motivation towards her home learning and going over and above by creating such creative pieces of work. Well done. Next, in Mandela class, we have Sienna, for writing such an insightful poem about the future, imagining what will happen if we don't begin to take care of our environment. It showed great creativity. Next, we have our rapping unicorn, aka Ismail in Pankhurst, for sharing his COVID-themed rap, as featured in our this week's newsletter. So if you've not seen Ismail's rap, go and have a look at the newsletter and you'll be able to give it a read, it's brilliant. Next, in Rosa Parks, we have Oscar, for being such an active community of not just the Year 5 Google Classroom, but the whole park community. You are a joy to have in the year group Google Meets with your infectious laughter and enthusiasm you bring to every task. Next, in pasta class, we have Shirina, being so kind and caring to his friends on Google Meet and always being so polite to his teachers on the phone. You always make time to see how we are and enthusiastically tell your teachers about your week in such a delightful manner. We are also very impressed with your cricket skills and love seeing the videos you share with us each week. Keep it up. Next, in Aldrin class, we have Taylor, for always looking forward to Miss Khan's weekly phone calls home and having lots to share. It's always nice to hear all the lovely things you've been doing at home. Next, in Da Vinci class, we have Riley, for keeping up his spirits during lockdown by producing some amazing learning. Your interview of your uncle who climbed Mount Everest was awesome. Keep it up. Next, in Edison class, we have Amalpreet, for being so engaged on your Google Classroom and doing your work as soon as it is uploaded. She is showing real self-confidence and motivation and enthusiasm for her learning. Well done, Animal. Please keep up the excellent work. Next, in Attenborough, we have Scout, for her engagement with the Forest School Google Classroom. Scout is exploring nature and thinking about how she can help our amazing planet. Next, in Malala, we have Anita, for her dedication to her learning, always pushing herself by asking for feedback on her work and asking questions during her online learning. She has produced some wonderful animations by demonstrating how much effort she is putting into her home learning. Next, in Dagama, we have Tauha, for making your teacher smile during every weekly phone call. You've been an excellent role model for your younger sister. Keep it up. Next, in Berners-Lee, we have Maisie, for engaging with online learning and having the confidence to share the learning she's done at home. Well done. Next, in Galileo, we have Amer, for his engagement during his Google Meet sessions and coming up with some great riddles for his class to solve. Fantastic, Amer. Next, in Pankhurst, we have Lisette, for writing and performing an interesting monologue in front of a large audience on Google Meet. Well done. And our last star this week in Da Vinci is Daisy Liana, to be Star of the Week for diligently using and working so hard on Lexia every single week since the school is closed. She has earned 3 certificates for completing 3 levels. Wow, that is speedy progress. Keep it up. Okay, so that is the end of today's assembly. Next week is half term, so there won't be an assembly then. So our next assembly will be on Friday, the 5th of June. Be safe, be kind, and be yourselves. And for anybody that is celebrating this weekend, have a very happy Eid, and we hope that you have a lovely and safe celebration. Okay, bye everyone.